So we used to say rolling plans. Okay. Rolling plans. Process aimed at formulating and implementing effective strategies. So it is not just formulating, but implementation as well. Okay. Formulating and implementing. What? Formulating and implementing effective strategies. What do you mean by effective? So that is when applied, you will get a result that is expected by you. Expected result. Okay. So if it is not effective, so that means you are wasting your resources. Because you have done something and the result is not expected or not valuable or not valued by you as well as your customers. Or something that will lead to reflecting that you have done something which is not accepted, which is rejected by many people or others. So effective strategies which align the organization with its environment. Organization is within an environment, is operating within an environment. So organization has to be always aligned with the environment within which it's working. Okay, organization has to align, has to be in conformity with the environment within which they are operating. Align with the organizational environment to achieve major organizational goals. Major organizational goals. This is what we are addressing. So it's simply, we can say it's a set of managerial decisions and actions that determines the long run performance of the organizations. So then, why certain organizations fail? Why some are doing well? So then we have to see fit between organizational environment and its strategy and processes for performance. So that is, has to be with clear sense of strategic vision for the firm, even for the family, even for yourself. Strategic vision. What are we going through and how do we reflect ourselves? Then sharp focus on matters of strategically important. What are the things that are strategically important? Yeah. Not addressing, not going after each and every small components. And then by looking at dynamic environment, the factors affecting the organization. So it can be technological environment, economic status, or maybe natural environment, so and so. So end of the day, we want strategic management because we want to position our firm for the future. We may be doing business today, but what are we tomorrow? Okay. So what are the things we want to achieve in the long run? Long-term goals and objectives. And we have to address, respond to, and anticipate change in the operating environment. There are a lot of forces, different forces, political, social, technological. You can see so many things coming. And based on strategic management plan, if you have a strategic management plan, then it is easy for us to allocate scarce resources. It is not that we are going to allocate resources to everybody in an equitable manner. So based on the strategic management plan, now we have long-term goals and objectives. Then we know how to allocate these scarce resources. It may be finances, it may be people, physical space, you name. That's the case. Then we want to see in organizations, we want to achieve some sustainable organizations. Then how do we sustain? Yes, we sustain competitive advantage. We are different from your competitors. We are different from other people. So what is our uniqueness? So can we capitalize on it? This is what we are addressing. So for this purpose, we want to carry out as environmental analysis. Don't worry about these terms. Industry analysis, firm analysis, and competitor analysis. We have to understand our competitors, how strong, how weak they are, as well as the how do they react to any changes in the industry environment. Okay. So likewise, we have to see what is happening in the environment. End of the day, why? Because organization cannot isolate any of these functions. Management, administration, marketing, human resource management, operations, research and design, information systems, and finance. And basically, when we address finance, it can be accounting and all. So, end of the day, this is how we measure the performance using strategic management plan. And see the deviations. Address the deviations. If it is adverse, yes, we have to find some certain other tactics or various things to mitigate this issue. So, friends, when we address organizational strategy, we have to look at certain things. It's top management, like strategic thinking. And so with that, we can develop strategies. And then what will happen is we have to have strategy implementation as then strategy controls and evaluations. So within this framework, we have crafting strategy by the top management or strategic management teams. Then at the implementation, we have to look at how this organizational culture, organizational structure can fit into this model. Then under strategy evaluations, you can see policies. So many things are within the organization, systems, and various other processes. And we have to do certain evaluations and controls, impose controls if required. So basically, we are starting with another question. Why? So initially, I asked you, why did you want to follow this MSc program? So clearly, we want to understand our goals and objectives. I mean, major goals and objectives. So for that purpose, we have to understand what we are and what we are doing and all. Really, the basic statement that you can see here is uh, extracted from one of the children's book called Alice in Wonderland. Can you remember that? If you have read it, when Alice went to the bottom of the well, and after certain incidents, she was going out from one place to another, and then she met the rabbit, and she asked, "Excuse me, can you tell me which road should I take?" So the simple answer was, if you don't know where you are going, if you don't know where you are going, any road will take you there. So that is the reality. So for strategic managers, yes. So with the CEO and the major decision maker, you have to define your goals and objectives. Goals and objectives of your organization. So this is where strategic plan comes at the first instance. So when we address the planning, so it's a process. Planning is a process, and for that we have to identify and select goals and course of actions for the organizations. See why we are going to do this. What is the purpose? So when we address it, the first thing that we have to do is we have to determine what the organization want to do in the long run. Okay. So basically it has to start with defining your business. What are you? What are we? So and so forth. Otherwise, we are not in a position to proceed with strategic management process. Okay. So determine the organization's mission and goals, and then, sorry, give me a second. Then what we addressed is determine the organization mission and goals. Then what we are going to address is strategy formulation. Okay. So analyze the current situation and develop strategies. Then comes the strategy implementation. So at this stage, we want to see that we allocate resources and responsibilities to pass it into the others as well. So this is basically determine the organization or define what are you, and then try to understand or try to objectively collect certain information about current situation and the new developments of the society as well as globally as well. So we start with defining the mission and vision. Okay. Then we have to carry out an external analysis of essence for opportunities and threats. Then internal analysis of strengths and weaknesses. So let's start building on. So in this process, at the very beginning or at the first outset, what we address is we want to find out organizational mission. So mission is a broad declaration of the purpose of the organization. So it can be addressed with product, customers, and especially how this particular organization differs from its other counterparts. Okay. Next is formulation strategy. Managers analyze the current situation and develop strategies. Relative. Then implementation. How to allocate resources between groups to ensure the strategy is achieved. So that is basically the process of plan, strategic plan. But when it comes to strategy hierarchy, the bottom level is the functional strategies. We all know functional strategies. What marketing people do, so and so forth. And the top that you find is top management level definitions. For example, the enterprise level. Next comes is the corporate level strategies. So we are revisiting. Sometimes the organization, when you recruit, you don't have options, then you won't get it. But later, when you find opportunities are available from your field, from a reputed place, yeah, you might rethink. Yeah. Then business level and functional level, yeah. So in the case of business level, we want to see what Unilevers and HEMAs are doing. Okay. At functional level, we are concentrating on how to drive with minimal level of credit. Is that all? No. So many other technology-based activities. I mean, the things are really much in routine work, functional. HR strategies, recruitment strategies, interviews, and all. Okay. So functional level, how will the various functional areas support achievement of our organizational goals? So the very first thing is define the organizational vision and mission. Very basic. So what is the mission statement? A formal commitment to stakeholders that the firm's strategy incorporates and recognizes their claims on the organization. So it's a formal commitment mission. And it's made available to all the stakeholders as on their demands in certain cases. So it's tell about the organizational aims or major goals related activities, how they are going to affect this. Okay. So in the mission statement, we are going to express our views about the overall vision or major goals. Then summation of managerial and physical philosophies that are valid about how they do businesses and treat employees. Okay. An articulation of key organizational goals. So these are part and parcel of mission statement. I mean, what many people have thought and explained. So for us, what is it? Yeah, basically to tell others, and even for us, this driving force, mission of the organization. What we want to achieve. Why are we moving forward? And if that is the case, what is our direction? What is our direction? So basically, when we address it, we'll understand that is the purpose or reason for the organizational presence or existence. If two organizations do the same thing, then why do you want to proceed with this? That is basic. So we have to be unique. We cannot offer same service, because in that case, there's no growth for you. Okay. Next come is the statement of purpose. And I mean, we'll call it strategic intent and stretch. So from the vision and mission, if you address, you can see they provide the sense of direction and purpose. So for everybody, we can tell others, we can stand for it. What is our organization? If we know what is our organization, if we know and can tell the direction of the organization, even for universities, even for open university, we have to provide that. Governments, yes, definitely yes. So that is why for many governments, it's a rule of thumb, like when the government, a new government moves towards, after election also, for a new government to show their colors as well as direction of working within its first 100 days. That is what people want. So it drives strategic decision making. Vision and mission drives the strategic the decision making process and resource allocation. So they are based on vision and mission. So we can get hold of all our supporters, the organizational people, to achieve this or go towards this vision and mission. So it is the forces that seek significant performance improvements to attain growth. That's what we want. Okay. So when we address mission, yes, we have to see what it is. So then we revisit and see what is our organization. So what is where we are seated, where we are placed. But then we have to check what businesses are we in. Is it just bakery products manufacturer or a supplier of raw material for several bakeries? So that's one part. And second part is what businesses should we be? So, earlier questions, what businesses are we in? Next is what businesses should we be in? Is the right direction? We have to see. Then we have to look at what are our best performers. So through that, what are we going to achieve? So mission again comes in. What do we do best? What is our special? What is our specialty? So there are certain companies, they are doing this and that, and whatever that they see or feel is going to be profit making, they go by. It's not the strategic management. So we have to address what do we do best. So next is what are the strategic markets? What are the target markets of the firm? So when we define mission, we have to look at that as, are we going to roll out a product to the entire world or the country? Or if it is a bakery or something, then catering the um, immediate environment, immediate surrounding. So then keep in mind, when we address mission statement, we have to see, we have to define the business by need rather than by product. Define business by need rather than product. So you address these things, something like lodging versus hotel. Define the business by need rather than product. Okay? So what is the specialty? Okay. So then there's another article coming from Harvard Business Review called Marketing Myopia, which I'll be sharing with you. Okay? Sharing with you in the near future. Then it is free from marketing myopia, as I said. I mean, the mission is free from marketing myopia, as I said. So what is the organizational mission statement of the Open University? Yes. So before getting there, so would like to ask you if join with me for a small break. Okay. We have been sitting here for a long time, and most of you have employed and, after office work, have come here, or organizational work, you have joined here. So let's, friends, we'll take a small break, 10 minutes break.
Okay, sir.
So when I say 10 minutes break, I want all of you to get up, work around, walk, and ideally have your refreshments and everything. I mean, you can have it or you can enjoy it while I continue with the session. Okay, 10 minutes break. 10 minutes break starting from what is our time?
2019, 8:19.
8:19. So what is this mission? Whoever Prakash or mission statement or whatever you would address. So what you are trying to achieve? Enhance opportunities for adult lifelong learning, addressing open distance learning, supporting excellence in research and scholarship. So if you look at the firms like Dialogue, so I want you to go and see during the past couple of years, so starting from 2005, how it has changed their vision and mission. Even Sri Lanka Telecom, I have not taken all these things for discussion, but you can see. And the address is the future today. Undisputed lead in mobile communications technology. So this is where organizations stand for. We want to see what we are. So based on that, we can develop our strategic management plans and rest of the things. Why? If we don't know what we are, we cannot move forward. So for organizations, they have to identify what it is. Next, I have a small topic called corporate governance. Because at the end of the day, it is the top management who is making decisions on behalf of others, on behalf of the investors. So in certain cases, the investors are somebody else, those who invest money, and a company's board of directors are making strategic decisions for the organization. Okay. So among them, you can find other stakeholders as well. So their interest is also have to be looked after by the corporate governance, uh, the top management, and for them, yes, corporate governance is how they manage the organization. So under this major concern is to see how to ensure that strategic decisions are made effectively. Because if it fails, that is the end of the story. The organization will not be able to survive anymore. Mind you, in today's even you can see there are many organizations, there are some organizations, key organizations or organizations that are spread all over the country, very wealthy organizations. And eventually some got bankrupted or they could not face their creditors even. Their investors lost everything. That's what I tell. Certain financial companies, certain conglomerates even face this situation. Like, I mean, Selinco Group or then Swarna Mahal Group, see what happened to them. Okay. So mind you, so this is very important that corporate governance, good corporate governance is of utmost importance. So nowadays, you see, many organizations are operating as companies established under the Companies Act of Sri Lanka. So you can see they have shareholders, they are the owners, those who have invested money, and somebody, the top management or the corporate management, are making decisions on behalf of them. So who is bearing the risk? Shareholders. So strategy development and decision making is done by professional managers. So how the organization is governed? through corporate governance. So it is the system how these organizations are directed and controlled. So good corporate governance is a key element in improving economic efficiency by making effective decisions. And bad corporate governance, what happens? We have experienced these things with certain organizations. And even today, you can see there are so many litigations and people are rallying around asking for their money. What had happened? And again, don't forget, organizations are not only responsible for their shareholders, but for the society, but for its employees, its customers. They are also depending on it. Customers, so they are the people, organization is the people, those who are providing certain basic stuff sometimes. Okay. If it is a bank, it's depositors. And see if it is some sort of manufacturers, yes, people are relying on it. But sometimes it's not only people, even other organizations are relying on them. If you take something like, nowadays, Kirisamba. So what is their real role? I mean, the rice mills. Okay. There are certain organizations depending on them. Families, yes, household, you can understand, rice. But restaurants and, those who are rolling out food, those who are making fried rice and various other rice-related products. So you can see customers are again relying on them. And to the society, to the economy of the country, yes. Okay. In the recent past, what you have seen, when certain banks failed, what happened to the country's economy? Not only Sri Lanka, even other parts of the world you should have experienced. We know the stories. We have seen what had happened. At one time, even the government of US even intervened when certain banks in US system came to the edge of bankruptcy. Because if such things happen, it affects the entire economy, country's economy. Governments interfere. So if certain importers and manufacturers fail, what will happen to the society? About food, about medicine, especially essential medicine. So how should we look at them? So there are certain things that we have, certain compliance and the rules of operating. So certain rules and laws and laws are there in governing the organizations. Accounts have to be audited by independent auditors, and auditors have to give a, an independent opinion on the operations of the organization. Unlike earlier, now it is not only just simple accounting practices. It is not only on accounting, the fund management, operations, operational efficiency, decision-making efficiency, and all these things have to be reported. Okay. board of directors and independent auditors. That's how the structure comes in. So they are coming with the law of the country. Then in addition to that, ethics, code of practices, code of conduct for employees, all these things are there. So sometimes the future of the or tomorrow of the organization depends on that. What happened? Okay. So who is the chief executive officer? What is he doing? What he has to do? In certain cases, when environment changes, when operating environment demands different aspects, like in the case of all of a sudden, certain countries got, many of these countries got affected in 2019 or 2020 with COVID. And just after that, many economies failed in the world. Sri Lankans also failed it. Certain other organizations came to a standstill. And unfortunately, ours, being a small economy, the survival was difficult. Okay. So with this top management, we can define the organizational mission, what we want to be. And when we have it, yes, the top management can lead the organization. When we say lead the organization, lead what? Employees of the organization to achieve or go towards what they want to achieve. Okay. By proper communication, motivation, certain leadership, tell and sell, all these things are really, really important. Because end of the day, shareholders purchase stocks or those investments and stay out and just waiting and see what will happen to their investment. Are they going to give you a return? Are they going to give you a value addition? I mean, when you have shares, it is not only what you see as dividends declared. What about capital gain? So all these things are possible if the organization is managed well within the given environment. Okay. So you'd have seen what happened to this Swarnamahal group. CIF, finance companies. When they started, and people started investing money on poorly performing organizations. So certain investments in low return organizations, low return, what do you call the business ventures. So under Selinco group, we could have seen Golden Key Eye Hospital. So what is the level of return that they are going to give? Especially compared to the, basically with the treasury bills. Okay. Likewise, we have to say what are the efficient and comparatively strong investments. Okay. Next, what I want you to take is take your eyes into another concept called learning organizations. What is a learning organization? Why we want organizations to learn? Yes. So learning comes with people. If it is not a learning organization, it's unfortunately we'll forget or what we have done in the past is lost. The training that we have given to employees has lost. And we want organizations to be learning organizations simply because we want to see that good practices, the knowledge that you have gathered is remaining within the organization. These practices have emerged with a huge cost to the organization, huge cost to certain people in the organization as well. Why? We are managing, we are running this organization, and day by day, we get experience. But unfortunately, if this experience is not shared among the people, in the organization, that is lost. Especially this happens when people leave. So if your learning is, or the experience is shared among your organizational colleagues, then it is going to remain. So when they learned the experience or what or how people have undergone in achieving organizational the goals, task in achieving organization goals is very, very important for the continuity of the organization. If it is not with you, but you have spent, the time and money is lost. So experience of the people is very important. So not only just the experience, if it is shared among other members, then we will find it comfortable in future decision making and actions. So why we want it? Nowadays, it's very important that you have to face the competition from competitors, and for that, your knowledge about the industry, business, the customers, and the sales processes are very, very important. So learning organization, an organization which facilitates the learning of its members, not a training program. Learning from its members, how he carried out its business, and get this this information or the knowledge, and make use of this knowledge used by other people, and especially um, going ahead with the necessary transformation for the organization. This experience is really, really valued. So this is learning organization definition coming from a lot of HR books, HR related area, and this definition is very old, 1991. I like this, so that is why I put it. So there are various other definitions for learning organizations. Yes, you can read and see. Okay, so it is something when people are working, for them, they have to be given the previous knowledge as an experience, what others have done, and maintain this knowledge within the organization. So this knowledge can transform the work practices, work behavior, and stuff related to the organizational people. So that will help in turn in making strategic decision making for the organization, in strategy implementation as well. So it requires cooperation between individuals and groups and good communication system. So for a learning organization, learning is essential, and especially for when an organization has to undergo certain changes, rapid organizational changes based on operating environment, or environmental forces. Okay. So there are various other reasons why we want it. Learning organization culture is one of the one that promotes and actively encourages creativity and new ideas. Okay. It's very important. So if it is a learning organization, yes, then people know the practices and everything. So without knowing the industry, without knowing the organizational past and the way of working present, people will not be able to help the organization in achieving its major goals and objectives. So with learning, when an organization transforms itself into a learning organization, yeah, it is strong enough to withstand that or provide expected customer requirements, improve service quality or product quality, end of the day, output quality. Because from learning the culture, we can extract what is really important for today, or how to do things done, or how comfortable are you with the new changes. Because then collective effort is there to uplift you, your organization, and your colleagues. So we address mission and goals. Vision, mission, goals, and objectives. So vision will be addressed, we even earlier discussed this, what the organization would like to become. What the organization would like to become in the future. And when we address mission, so how we are going to achieve this vision? Set out why the organization exists. What are we? Why the organization exists and what it should be doing. This comes with mission. The openness is addressing the open and distance learning to achieve its mission, lifelong learning of people in the country. Okay. Then we have to see what are the major goals we are going to achieve in the medium to long run operations timeframes. Then secondary goals, when it comes to the department levels, you can see to attain the and lead the superior performance. How you get it done? And when we address goals and objectives, yeah, what are they? They have to be precise and measurable, quantifiable stuff, address important issues, not each and everything, or less important matters. And they have to be, good objectives have to be challenging and realistic. So that means there's a problem, then there should be an answer within the system. challenging, but realistic, and time period specified. In the case of objectives, yes, for the next 12 months, within before December, like that. And friends, for many organizations, really speaking, almost all the organizations, the supreme level organization goal is maximize shareholder returns. Maximize shareholder returns in terms of dividends as well as capital gains. So when we address goals and objectives, organizations need long-term as well as the short-term objectives. And when we address goals, they are broad, generalized statements. Okay. See the example, students will be able to apply proper grammar to composition papers. Does it's address these things? Goals, time frames. So objectives are derived from goals. And compared to goals, objectives are more specific and quantifiable. Okay. This is what we achieve. This is, or sometimes objectives are set by the top management and ask us to follow them, try to achieve it. And when we address them, objectives have certain specific feature. We call them SMART objectives. So what do you mean by these SMART objectives? When we address it, you can see. Sorry. S M A R and T. You can see a time frame as SMART. Specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and timely objectives. So what are these properties? So objectives have to be measurable. No doubt about it. Can understand it. Okay, it's important, very important. Because end of the day, yes, it gives what you call a lot of facilities for controls and various other things. Okay, so in assessing or evaluating the performance of organization, objectives are really important. So why is evidence? How we have achieved, what we have achieved. It's there. Okay. Measurable. See, objectives. So if we say, or if you send a circular and say, answer the phones quickly. Will it make any sense? When we say answer the calls quickly, it's not measurable because we are not defining it in a proper way. So if you look at the second statement, phone calls will be answered within 3 rings. Can you see the measurable part? Specific nature. This is what we want to do. And this comes to achievements. We have to be very particular about objectives. Is it measurable? Whatever that we have said, is it measurable? So we have to see achievable. So when we change strategies, yes, we want to see, we have to achieve this. So if that is the case, as one of the alternatives, you can see any units or departments or divisions or organizations where this part is applied. Okay. And see that objectives can be achieved for the success of the organization. Okay. So sometimes when we address achievable, we have to check using numericals or the models. Can it be done? Okay. If that is the case, how it has to be done? Because we have to guide, is a guideline. And to prepare this guideline, are they achievable? Okay. So if you want to achieve, yes, there are certain conditions as well. Certain resources are required. Okay. Then you have to be aware of limitations in addressing them. Then you have to be, objectives have to be realistic and relevant. So is it relevant for you? Specific. So if it is just by qualitative nature, then you'll find it difficult to measure them. Specific nature. Who is going to do how much of what by when? Okay. So when it is specific, yes, people will not have ambiguities. People in the organization or the department or the division can understand it very well. Okay. So there is specific nature. One example. So by this date, students following, this is not the date, this is an example that I put down. The research project has to be finalized, the data collection and some, by a certain date. Okay. And finally, it has to be time-based, with a specific, clear nature of time. Okay, starting date, ending date, so so forth. Right. With that, we'll conclude for today.